let all the delegates please sit down. People who are not delegates also sit down. Okay, good morning, everybody. Only the delegates sit in this area. If you're not a delegate, please do not sit in this area. Okay, that's non-delegates. Let's keep it quiet there, please. Okay, go to meeting to order. Dave, how many?
We have 70 at last count.
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. Are we ready for Brighton President? Okay, minutes.
The minutes of the February Cobrua Delegates Assembly meeting were published in the Cobrua Reporter. Has anyone found any omissions, additions, or corrections to the printed minutes?
Yep, Carolyn over here.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. Carolyn from Exeter, Carolyn Haynes from Exeter. I think it was in Mike's report when he was welcoming the new presidents. You indicated a new president at Exeter, but we do not have a new president at Exeter. So that would be a correction.
Thank you. I was not aware of that. I just wrote what I heard. Anybody else want to say the same thing or anything different?
Susan Ortsman, President. I have two questions, so it's not, I don't think it's a mistake, but two questions. Under the executive board, Stanley Siegel in number 8, attorney Laura Coffey was investigating whether we could make main gate entry decals mandatory for all cars. I have a question, how is this going to be done? All cars? Visitors' cars, family cars? That's my first. Second is, we reached a compromise settlement with Academy. I'd like to know what the settlement is for, how much, and where is the money going to? Stanley.
The settlement with Academy was for damage done to the roadways. We asked for about $40,000. They offered 0, so we settled for 20.
And where is that money going into?
Pardon me?
Where is the monies going into?
Goes into our cash account, so we can do the repair work.
Okay, and the other question, as far as the decals.
The decals, we're waiting for Laura to come back and give us an answer. She's investigating it.
Okay, do you have any idea what?
Well, that's why I put it was put in, because this is what came up at a meeting, and we're waiting for an answer. So I don't have the answer yet. When the answer comes through, it'll appear in the publication.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's very helpful because there's no way to know without the feedback from the delegates. Thank you very much. So is there any objection to accepting the minutes as corrected? Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, please turn off your phones because this is election. We're going to have people, have 3 minutes to tell us what they should be elected. So please turn off your phones. I don't want anyone to be interrupted. Felix is going to tell you, we're turning the meeting over to the election committee now. After you vote, and they go count the votes, we will continue with the meeting. You have a mic, Felix?
Yes, I do.
All right, please pay attention.
Good morning. My name is Fios Fodish. I am the chairman of the election committee. Our candidate may speak for 3 minutes before we hand out the ballot. Once every candidate has spoken, we will then call each association up to the table where they will sign in once again and receive their ballots. Once you have marked your ballot, please place them in the ballot box adjacent to the table. Election of the officer of the Cobrua is governed by the Cobrua bylaws, Article 5 and 10. There are 8 positions to be filled for the Cobrua offices, 5 of which unopposed. The opposing positions are President, First Vice President, and Second Vice President. The 5 unopposed positions are Treasurer, Financial Secretary, Budget Director, Recording Secretary, and Sergeant at Arms. Karen Sachs has withdrew as a candidate. Before the end of the election day, I will hand out a recording secretary 1 ballot to cast his vote for those 5 unopposed candidates. The term of the office is 2 years. The candidate elected today will serve until the election in March of 2026. All candidates, please come up to the front so I could have you ready to when your name is called to speak. We will now hear from Fred Hadley for 3 minutes.
Good morning, delegates. My name is Fred Hadley, and I'm running for president of the Century of Boca Raton Umbrella Association, or Cobrua. Who is in charge of Cobrua? Is it the president, or is it the Cobrua Executive Committee? Neither one. Let's turn to Article 3 of our bylaws. The affairs of Cobrua shall be governed and managed by the Council of Delegates. That's you guys and gals. If I'm elected president, I will see to it that the delegates have that managing role restored. What is an umbrella association? An umbrella, when held vertically, is a protective cover. But under the current administration, that umbrella is often turned sideways and acts more like a barrier between unit owners and the board. Why are there 2 cable companies? The culture of secrecy caused 5 associations to reject Cobrua's choice of Comcast and get a better deal with another company on their own. Hiding the cable bids from the unit owners for nearly a year created an atmosphere of mistrust. The offices boast that Cobrua is not regulated by the condo statute. If I'm elected president, I will recommend that the delegates approve the immediate posting of all bulk contract bids to the association portal so that unit owners may study them, not because we have to, but because we want to. Transparency. As publisher of the Village Century newsletter for the past 15 years, I've gained the trust and respect of our elected officials. Most recently, I interviewed Mayor Marita Sachs, with whom I partnered in stopping the GL Homes land swap that would have developed the Ag Reserve near Clintmore Road. I also interviewed Congressman Moskowitz, Senator Polsky, and Clerk and Controller Abruzzo, who chose the Village Century to get the first ever video access to his office. Transparency was his goal. These political connections prove that I work well with our elected officials, which can only benefit Century Village going forward if I'm elected. I am working with them to restore the Citizen Observer Patrol card to the village. Let's reform Cobrua, not destroy it through the self-destructive culture of secrecy. Let's support our umbrella association, but let's make it a transparent umbrella. Please vote for Fred Hadley for Cobrua president. Thank you very much.
We will now hear from Charles Rosenfeld.
Good morning. I didn't bring an umbrella with me, I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting rain today. Anyway, my name is Charlie Rosenfeld, and I am enthusiastically running for the president of Cobrua and the M&O committee. In these difficult times, it's important for Cobrua to be represented by someone with vast business experience as well as association experience and a person with composure and common sense. I have the experience and know-how to lead Cobrua successfully forward into these challenging times. My experience also affords me an opportunity of being an asset to the M&O Committee. My background of 25 years of finance and insurance experience and my 7 years as president of the Preston Association has helped me to prepare to become president of Cobrua. As president of Preston, I have been exposed to virtually every situation imaginable. I have handled all the issues with a steady hand. In addition, I have enjoyed interacting and assisting my residents whenever possible. In addition, I have been director of Preston I for 9 years, a Cobrua delegate for 7 years, and serving on the M&O Committee for 1 term, and have been chairman of the Insurance Committee for 6 years. When I moved to Florida 20 years ago, I obtained a position as a senior mortgage advisor. After a period of time, I was promoted to a senior underwriting position specializing in loan modifications. Later, the bank announced it was relocating to North Carolina. I did not want to relocate with that move at that time. Thank you very much. I would appreciate your support and your vote.
We will now hear from Dave Fisher. David?
Good morning, everyone. You know me as your Sergeant at Arms, Dave Fisher. I have held this position since Stan Slater retired. Today I am running for the office of First Vice President of Cobrua. Before moving to Florida, I served in the U.S. Army Reserves for 6 years. In 1977, my wife Karen and I moved to Florida and resided in Century Village since 2009. I am a certified dental technician. Karen and I owned a dental laboratory in Boca Raton until we retired. I was on the advisory board for Nova University, helping to establish the facility and program for dental technology. Before serving as Sergeant at Arms at the Cobrua meetings, I am a delegate, member of the M&O, Vice President of Fanshawe, and Director of my building. I have also been on many committees for the betterment of Century Village. I have always listened to the residents' requests and problems and have followed through to help them. This will not change. I am Dave Fisher, and I am running for First Vice President, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
We will now hear from Carol Haynes.
Hi, good morning. My name is Carolyn Haynes, and I'm running for the Cobrua First Vice President. Century Village is my full-time home, and I want it to be the nicest, safest, and best place to live. I want to be part of the process and participate in planning and making decisions for Century Village. I know I have a lot to bring to the table, and that's why I'm running for office. I wrote a column in the recent Cobrua Reporter about my background. If you didn't read it, in brief, I have an MBA degree and 40 years of professional career in banking and finance in Chicago. I also have experience with many not-for-profit organizations. I know what it takes to be a leader and to have a well-run business. These experiences are coupled with my passion for ensuring Century Village is a great place to live. If elected, I will bring these experiences together to represent you in a way that will balance what's good for the community, as well as the safety and welfare of the residents, with making good decisions that are required to operate a multi-million-dollar business. My first role here in Century Village was as a director and delegate at Exeter. A year ago, I became interested in the Cobrua group because I knew that the 2028 option to buy the clubhouse and rec facilities would be a significant and complicated transaction. I wanted to be part of those decisions, and I'm honored now to be president of the Cobrua group. Last year, I organized our first Veterans Celebration with the help of a lot of people here in Century Village. I'm proud of how wonderful that event turned out, and I'm happy to tell you that Mark Levy has again agreed to generously be our financial sponsor, so it looks like we will have another Veterans Celebration again this year. Thanks. I'm excited. I hope you are too. I ask for your vote, and I look forward to serving you. Thank you.
We will now hear from Mark Hoffman.
Hi, I'm Mark Hoffman. I'm running for second vice president. And thank you, Carolyn, for all you've done for veterans here. I have a degree in construction.
Mark, Felix, he doesn't have to talk over that. Mark, you don't have to talk over that. Okay, go ahead.
I have a degree from Arizona State University in construction. I have the equivalent of a master's in real estate. I have enough credits for
Talk into
enough
the
degrees.
microphone.
I have another degree, enough credits for another degree in something else. But when I was in Arizona State, the draft was pretty heavy, so I joined ROTC. I went into the Army as an officer. I spent a year in Virginia as an instructor. I spent a year in Vietnam running an operation there. Coming home, my first job, for those of you in New York, I was a construction super at Starrett City for 4 years. I rose from assistant superintendent trainee to superintendent to deputy project superintendent over that time. After that, I've got into commercial real estate. And after a few years, I was recruited by Helmsley to co-manage an office there. We go from 15 to 50 people. And after we got it that big for a while, I realized I was doing more paperwork and administrative work than real estate. I went out on my own. I've managed large properties, do mortgage brokerage, did a lot. I look forward to serving here. I look for your vote, and I think it's time for some new blood here. Thank you.
We will now hear from Sydney Schwartz.
Thank you, Felix. Good morning. Since I'm running for 2 offices today, I thought I'd spare you one speech. And so I'm not going to talk now. I'll wait till I'm called on as a candidate for M&O. Thank you.
The unopposed candidates are Lynn Roberts, Treasurer, Ted Spar, Financial Secretary, Stanley Siegel, Budget Director, Alan Perman, Recording Secretary, Bertha Wessler, Sergeant at Arms. The M&O Committee has 7 candidates running for 4 positions. The term of the office is 2 years. They will serve until the election, March of 2026. They are Al DiPretotoro, Mona Lloyd, Susan Meltzer, David Merzon, Charlie Rosenfeld, Sydney Schwartz, and Ted Spar. We will now hear from Al DiPretotoro. I will now hear from Mona Lloyd. Oh, is he here? I apologize. Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't see him.
morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Al DiPertaro. I've been a full-time resident of Century Village. Full-time resident of Century Village, 2004. I reside in the I building of the Dorset Association, where I am the present director of that building. I have been president and vice president of the Dorset Association. I'm a retired contractor builder. I'm a retired disabled United States Marine, 6 years of service. First time I stood before you and asked you for your confidence in your vote, I said because of my background and training in the construction field, that if elected, I would bring another dimension to the M&O committee. And I believe I have done so if you check the record of the past 10 years. The M&O committee has done many, many projects in the past 10 years. I will just say, too, that I'm very proud of being a central part of, one, the expansion of the fitness center was my idea, and with the help of Mike Limongelli and my other friend Al Weinstein, we were able to enlarge it, enlarge it by 4,000 square feet, put the best equipment that we could put into it, make it an open, beautiful place for people to work out. It also made a statement that we are not just a retirement village waiting for our eventual end, that we may be older, but we are thinking ahead, and that, in fact, that is a draw for new retirees to come here and look at us. It's an outstanding. I can tell you from past experience, I've worked out in gyms from South Philadelphia all the way out to the island of Oahu at Pearl Harbor. It's one of the finest of its kind, and I'm very proud to have been with it. I'm also very proud to have had the honor of working with Dan Cruz, the man who's in charge of all the Levy properties. The second is the theater I'm most proud of. We turned that into one of the finest venues around. Because of ceiling problems, we had to tear it apart, wall to wall, down to the floor, start from scratch. We also remodeled the backstage dressing rooms for the performers. And we also built and installed a freight elevator that was caged make it easier to load and unload equipment. The ceiling in there is acoustically designed to put out the maximum sound quality of both live
Please finish your point.
Live and recorded performances. I'm asking you once again to vote for me so I can continue to help this community move along. We made a statement. We're not just waiting to die. Thank you.
You will now hear from Mona Lloyd.
Good morning. I'm Mona Lloyd, and I thank you for this opportunity to speak to you this morning. I, of course, want to address my comments to each delegate here, since I want your support to be elected to the M&O committee. However, I also wish to address each and every resident in our village, since the M&O committee and every other board in this village exists to be the voice of our residents. I'm a retired CPA from New York, a widow after over 45 years of marriage, a mother of 2 married sons, and a proud grandmother. I retired from a large regional bank in the Northeast as a senior vice president. During my career, I spent several years as a manager in our audit department, as well as working with members of our senior management team, overseeing our risk management program. I've spent my career with local, state, federal law enforcement agencies ensuring compliance with policies and procedures. Our community, as you all know, is at a crossroads. We are facing a number of very serious challenges. We must address a Florida bill that requires milestone structural inspections, as well as structural integrity reserve studies. We must ensure adequate reserve requirements, and soon we will be given the opportunity to exercise a buyout of Century Village property. In addition to these requirements and opportunities, we're experiencing unprecedented insurance increases in serving material cost. Serving as a board or committee member at this time has never been more challenging. How should directors and officers meet this challenge? Well, in my opinion, it has to be through open, transparent communication. As elected officers and directors, we need to be the voice of our residents. As the newly elected president of the Dorset Association, unfortunately, I have experienced firsthand that our directors of that association have not acted in the best interest of our residents. Serving as a board or committee member is a thankless job. We all know that. To make matters even worse, many residents, unfortunately, have become complacent. Just 2 days ago, I received an email from a Dorset resident. In her closing statement of this email, she said to me, I, as president, must take responsibility. How will I, as president, fix Dorset issues? To this resident and to my fellow delegates, I answer this question with 2 quotes from Henry Ford. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. If everyone is moving forward together, then success will take care of itself. To be successful, it takes our village, Century Village. Thank you for your time.
We will now hear from Susan Nelson.
Good morning. I think I know many of the people here, certainly not all of them. I've been a resident of Century Village for 7 years, but an owner for longer than that. And I'm mentioning this because I actually started volunteering here from the day I bought my apartment. I don't know if Robert Goodman is here with us, but he can tell you that I was working for the Low Vision Group from the get-go. I still work for them, and I'm a host of other nonprofits here in our own community. I'm on the board of the Cobrua Group. I'm the president of Ainsley. And I can tell you that volunteering and trying to participate and make things better for a whole lot of people is in my DNA. And those of you who have worked with me, like it or not, what I do, and Ted can tell you this, I over-communicate with my board. I do. I believe in transparency. I walk the talk. I don't just talk it. And a lot of what I do is behind the scenes here, and that's not a problem for me. Prior to coming here, I worked in HR, in office management. I handled large-scale projects. I have an MBA in management. I'm also a ghostwriter. I actually wrote a book. Didn't want any credit for it, but I did write it. All my life, I have believed you make the place you live better. You participate. Service is the rent we pay for living on this planet, and I do that. I collaborate, I work well with people, I believe in giving everybody a fair shake, and I try my very best to communicate as cleanly and as succinctly as possible. I don't believe in just getting up and grandstanding. I've done a lot of good things, I think, since coming here, and I would like to continue to do that. We do have unprecedented challenges. We all know we do. Our buildings are old. They require work. And I would like to continue to participate to make our community as good as it can be. Thank you for your time.
We'll now hear from Dave Marzon.
Hello, my name is David Marzon, and I'm a candidate for the M&O Committee. I am a resident owner for the past 15 years and a full-timer for 8 years. I have been the director of my building, Fanshawe A, for 8 years, vice president of Fanshawe for 6 years, and president for the last 2 years. I served on the Cobrua board as first vice president for the past 4 years, and was on the M&O committee for 2 years, 2019 to 2020. I am chairman of the advisory committee and a member of the contract review committee. I am also co-founder and treasurer for the New Friends at CDW Club, and I was a member of the COP program for 6 years while I was operating here in the village. Before my retirement to Century Village, I worked in the printing industry in New York City in both labor and management positions, and have experience in negotiating contracts and managing staff. I was the president of both the Young Printing Executives Club and the Printing Production Estimators Club for the printing industries in New York organization. I am a Navy veteran and a member of many veterans groups. I am deeply concerned with the day-to-day living here in the village, and will work to improve the lifestyle for all our residents. Thank you very much.
We will now hear from Charlie Rosenfeld for the M&O Committee.
I'm Charlie Rosenfeld, as I introduced myself before, and I realized that when I gave my speech before, that I left out something, a few little things that are important. But I am running for the M&O, and I have served as M&O previously, a few years ago, for 1 term. So I am familiar with it. I was also involved with the theater and a lot of other things that we did. So we made a lot of improvements. But some of the things that I would like to accomplish are enhancing the Cobrua Reporter, making it more interesting. I would like to find ways to increase the number of people attending our meetings. I mean, I think it's a shame. We have 5,728 units here, and we have less than 10% of the people that attend. That's sad. I want to address the residents' concerns by making sure that their questions are addressed, finding ways of being, more transparent in certain areas. And I want to further disclose some of the behavior that goes unreported in our association. And I feel that we should do everything possible to encourage residents to step up, volunteer, and eliminate the infighting that goes on at our meetings. And it's critically important that we all work together for the future good of this village. I would appreciate your vote and support. And again, I'm Charlie Rosenfeld, running for M&O. Thank you.
We will now hear from Sid Schwartz.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Our village has an operating budget of more than $15 million a year. It is your money that pays the bills, and you entrust the 7 members of the M&O to spend it wisely. Every year, the M&O faces a multitude of competing demands for the money. To name a few, tennis or pickleball, clubhouse and theater, or a wall along Lyons Road, bus roads, or a bicycle and walking paths. Today, there's even a demand for electric charging stations. It is a real challenge to balance and to compromise all the competing interests, and it will be even more difficult to make the hard choices in the coming years. Most of us are retired and living on fixed incomes, so there's little wiggle room for increases in the budget, especially after the large increases in assessments from the associations last year. Most of you know me from my various jobs working for you. You know I'm guided by my legal education and work experience. I look at the big picture and set long-term goals. I'm not afraid to tackle the hard and unpopular issues. I try not to be drawn into the drama of some of our residents. I research the issues, value resident input, and use my very best judgment to maintain and improve our homes and lifestyle. Most important, I have a proven record. I have shown over the years the ability to work cooperatively with my colleagues, as well as with Sen West, to achieve our common goals. The money pie is only so big, the balancing act is tricky, and yet the M&O I currently sit on has gotten important things done. We have a beautiful clubhouse and theater, and our state-of-the-art facilities can compete with any high-end community. I am proud to have had a hand in what we've accomplished. I'm running to retain my seat on the M&O. I'm also running to continue to serve as second vice president of Cobrua. I need your help and ask for your vote for both jobs. Thank you.
We will now hear from Fred Spar.
Thank you. In December of this year, I filled out the declaration of intent to run as a member of the M&O committee, and somehow, probably my fault, I didn't get that printed in the Cobrua newspaper. So I just want to tell you one of the things that I included in that intent to run document that I had to fill out. And that was, I said, I would like to continue to serve on M&O, but also encourage others to do so as well. And that's what's happened. You're here today, and that's great. On the M&O committee, I played an important role because of my engineering and MBA degrees. I want to go and talk about specifically some specific items that have been going on. A frustrating item that's concerned me has been our inability to come to some methodology to control speeding drivers right here in the village. In past years, after a tragedy took place, I raised the idea of why we couldn't put in signs that showed the speed people were going at, and we have done that. This year, we're putting flashing lights to make drivers aware of pedestrians in our major roadways, but even that, as we've worked on before, I don't believe either of these have been effective. We've discussed speed bumps, speed humps, sand-based painting on the roadways, sheriff deputies coming through to check out the drivers, and more. But none of this looks like it's working out. What does seem to be a next step that we take is where we have these lights installed on the major roads that show the speed that drivers are going on, that we have to go past that, and actually, as has been done in others, so not our associations here, but in other locations, that we actually could take a picture of the license plate when the car goes by as speeding, and then knowing the license plates of people here, find them, find us if we're driving fast. This is something that we have to do. This is not something that's done by the association, by Cobrua for service. This is an M&O responsibility, and it's something that we've been working on. Different area. I'd like to talk quality of life. Talk about where we have so many places out here. This place looks great, but we're being bothered by sorry. Cable committees with their cabinets. They have Florida Power and Light, water department, piping, meters going in. We're losing the attractiveness of this location, and we have to work on that to see just what we could do. Well, one last item, our buses are just too big here. When we look into it, we find buses are empty, or at night they're empty. During the day there are a couple people on them. We have to look at some new ways of that. We've started talking about it over the last several years actually, but we're paying more attention now to the fact that I got involved and brought up the idea of why couldn't we have smaller buses, at least in the village. I know large buses go outside, but in the village we got smaller buses. You want to say there's a show at night, we need large buses, but we could save a lot of money if we got down to the smaller buses. Thank you.
I will now start to call the association and hand out the ballots. The election committee members, could you please join me at the table?
Okay, let's go, delegates.
We have a little decorum.
We have a quorum, Dave? Okay, let's go, delegates. Come on. Come on, let's go. Let's go, it's next, Dave. Dave, we still have a quorum? Yes? Okay.
Well, you have some delegates.
All right, security's up next. Security? Make sure they have a mic, Dave. All right, non-delegates, that goes for you too. Al, please. Let's continue with this meeting.
Good morning, my name is Jody with United Security, and this is our monthly review for February. For miles of patrol, we have 5,876. Pre-authorized calls, 7,665. Commercial vehicles and contractors, 459. Do you have any questions for me?
You have someone here, Dave.
Hi, Jody, thank you. I'm Mona Lloyd Dorset. Jody, I've asked this question before, and I'm not clear if I got the correct information. I appreciate the reports that you give us, but I'd also very much be interested in getting reports that tell me things like were cars vandalized, were there break-ins, were there other activities throughout the village that we would be interested in knowing about. And the answer that I got when I asked that question was that the presidents get a report that details out break-ins, vandalisms, et cetera, et cetera. I've checked with several of the presidents, and now, good or bad, I am a president, and I don't see that report. Could you give me an update?
Mr. Siegel has the 16 copies that I have. We give it to him every meeting. He has them.
Mona, they usually give it at the president's meetings. No, they usually, at the president's meetings, Sandy usually distributes stuff.
President's meetings, not to be, disrespectful, but other presidents have told me they haven't gotten them, and I've been to president's meetings, I haven't gotten them. Maybe we could just follow up on it.
Go up to Stanley and say, I'm the president, give me a report.
Larry Krakow, Exeter. Last Thursday night, we parked our car in the south parking lot towards the end, and we attempted to walk along the path. Unfortunately, the sprinkler system was on, and we had to walk on the road. Is there anything that can be done about that?
I think the sprinklers might be on a timer. I can find out and get back to you. But I think they are on a timer.
Yes, they are on the timer.
Milton Fishberger from Cornwall. I just want to follow up on what Mona just said. Let's make this at President's meeting. There is a president. Dave is in charge. Oh, Mike was in charge. But now Dave or someone is going to be in charge at those president's meetings. So rather than me or Mona or Susan or anybody else going over to Stanley right now, those reports would be helpful. Let's have them distributed at the president's meeting. I'm making an official request on behalf of myself, and I'm sure some of the other presidents may want the same thing, that it be given out officially at the president's executive board meetings.
They are given out at the president's meeting.
I haven't gotten it, Mike, and apparently I'm not alone.
Well, the new presidents have gone to the president's meetings.
Mike, I've been there, and so have Susan. Has been there longer than me. She's never gotten it. So let's start it fresh, please.
Okay, yes.
Larry Levine, Brighton C. I have a question. It's happened a few times when I come in on Kimberly entrance in. I'm a resident here. I'm in the line for residents, and the bar doesn't go up. Sometimes, a couple of times I had the privilege of not having anybody behind me so I could back up again and try to go through. It still didn't go up. The girl in the bar, standing outside there, says she wants my city ID. Okay, I didn't have it with me. So we're holding up the line in the meantime, and it's packing up behind me. Okay, I said, you can see my sticker on the window there. What do I have to show you an ID? I'm driving, it's not my fault that the machine's not working. I got a lot of hassle by Miss Ashley. Okay, it's happened a few times. I want to know, am I the only one, or is this happening to other people here? When the machine is not working on the resident side properly, and you don't have any room to back up to have it, try to get it to click again, what do? There's no reason why you should ask for an ID when you see in the car that you're driving, you have a sticker on it. Thank you.
Okay, let security answer, okay? Security meeting.
We encourage you guys to not back up because it can cause an accident. But we also do ask for Central Village IDs. If you don't have the Central Village ID, we then ask for your driver's license. We check ABI. We also we're getting the decal numbers, and we're giving that to the ID office so they can check to make sure your decal is working.
Yeah, nobody's ever checked my decal number, okay? And a couple of times that I've had it back up, it's clicked the machine on. But the thing is that it holds up the line, and the line in the residents, people stop beeping and everything. There's got to be a better way.
Unfortunately, it will cause a delay, but we have to make sure that the right people are coming in. We know we have cracks in the system that we're working on, but and the ones that we can work on and continue fixing, we have to check for those IDs.
We'll get to you, miss. He'll come to you. She had her hand up.
Elaine Harris, hi. Piggybacking on Milt and Mona with regard to getting the president's report about the security, I'm missing why we can't just do this by email. It seems that would solve everything. So Milt said he formally wanted to request it. I'm going to formally request we do it by email.
Okay. This woman here had her hand up first. I'm sorry, but she had her hand up first. We'll come back to you.
Fran Gritz, Mansfield. I would like to know if there is anything about cars backing up. Is there any rule? Because I know there used to be where they weren't supposed to be backing into spots. Here in Mansfield, I live in M. They're all over the place backing in.
That's an association problem.
Oh, it is?
Yes, take it for the association.
Will do.
We have the woman over here. She had a hand up.
Lily Benvenuto, Lincoln C. The answer to the problem with the decal sticker is very simple. Happened to me, happened to a few of my other owners. Go to the office and get a new sticker. Solves the problem. They get old, they get worn. So try that. Usually will work. Thank you.
Dave, we have a gentleman up here. He's coming.
Liam Odell, Exhibit D. Due to circumstances, you can see I'm in a cast. I have nurses coming twice a week. I have called that automatic system twice a week, and they keep refusing my nurses entry. What do I do?
I will look into that. Once you call it in and they have the proper identification, it shouldn't be a problem. If they arrive at the gate and they forgot their ID at home, they will not gain access to the village.
Dan Tanzer from Ainsley. At the last meeting, you were asked to investigate and make a report back on some issues that were raised last month. Have you done so? That's part one. And I ask this particularly because on Saturday there was a pickleball tournament here. This is a league of Palm Beach County teams, and the finals that one of our teams was in was playing. The event was here, and we sent, as requested, a list of the names of the people who were supposed to be let in. Most were. One car was stopped and refused entrance. So they pulled that car out of line, made them wait while the captain of the team, all the way down by Mansfield, was contacted and made to come back to verify that these two elderly pickleball players were worthy of entrance. So it seems to me that the questions, the issues that are raised are going unaddressed. So I'd really like to hear if you can update at least a couple of things that you were asked about last month.
Well, me and Dan Leese have been working on a few things that you've spoken about. As far as, one second. As far as the pickleball, I was here Saturday and the guests did ask to park, and I contacted the gate and told them to allow access. By the time, I don't know if they got access to the other gate, but they did notify me, and I did tell them, no, they need to gain access.
So they weren't stopped, and our team captain didn't have to come up?
No, I just said that they were parked. Yes, they were stopped. And I also said the gates notified me and I gave them access.
But the captain was called up.
That was before I was called. I was called after the fact because I was here roving, which I'm not here on Saturday mornings.
I don't understand why you were called. If the list was given to them,
I
why
get
weren't
that.
they let in?
I agree. Can't answer that. What I can say is the gates did notify me and I told them to let them in.
How about, can you name any of the incidents that you were asked about last month?
Well, the main things that you were talking about were
Wasn't just me.
The CPR, correct?
Wasn't me. There were lots of them.
Name one that you're referring to.
No, you name one.
I'm asking you to name one because you said it wasn't you.
No. If you can't name it, how do you
See me
address
after
it?
the meeting and we can discuss it then. Anything else?
I have a question.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a lot. I'm sorry, I didn't see Bob. I didn't see you, I'm sorry.
Name and association.
Frida Spiro from Yarmouth. I know that you're spending a lot of the time focusing on people that are coming in through the gate. But on the other side, when people leave, other people are able to walk in that side, but nobody's stopping them. So I was just curious what security's gonna do about that open space and what they can do about preventing that.
Yeah, that was actually brought to our attention earlier. I don't know if the person is here, but we are going to be training on that as well and seeing if we can have the rover more stationary at the gates for that during the day once they're done with their job.
I didn't understand your answer.
To monitor the gates for the walkers.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you, Chief, appreciate it.
Before we conclude the meeting, I also want to thank the residents for using the automated system. We've seen an increase of residents that are using the system. We also want to remind residents that your Central Village IDs, you cannot give it to your guests. They will be confiscated. That is happening a lot, and we are taking them, and the residents have to come to the clubhouse to get them. Please don't give it to them because they can't gain access to the clubhouse or the village with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, the Treasurer's report, Lynn Roberts is not here. Stanley, you want to take that budget, M&O, and that's it.
Okay, as prepared by Lynn Roberts, month ending balance for checking was $22,370 this month compared with $18,000 last month. CD this month with $28,000, almost the same as last month's CD. So the total money, month ending balance is $51,132. Last month was $46,760. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's almost noontime, but good morning. Since I get the security report today, what we'll do is on the third Monday of the month when the presidents meet, we'll distribute it like I've done in the past. And whatever's left over, we'll give out on the executive board meeting the first of the month. So between the two meetings, everyone should get a copy as long as they attend. This is the time of the year where we come up with the proposed budget for the new year, which commences April 1st through March 31st of next year. First time in a long time, I'm coming up with, don't forget, a budget is a guesstimate. It's based on experience and what we think will be happening. This is the first time in a long time that I'm coming up with a break-even budget. The reason I can account for it is, one, for newspaper ads, we increased the rates last September. Also, this is a political year, so we're expecting more advertisements from the politicians who are running. Some of our expenses were kept at about the same rate in some occasions.
Excuse me, Stan. Please sit down. Okay, go ahead, Stan.
Okay, and some of the expenses were modified slightly, so if you have a copy on your chair, so you'll see where we have a break even. The actual for the current year, we'll find out how it worked out once the accountants do the final P&L for the season, for the fiscal year. Any questions regarding the budget? Do I hear a motion to approve the budget?
You have a question? Excuse me, you have a question?
Yes, thank you.
Elaine Harris, hi. Could you on the expenses just tell us about some of the ones that went up more significantly than others, specifically printing? That's like 10 grand.
The cost of printing had gone up since we've been adding a few more pages with ads coming in, so we're anticipating higher printing costs. And this is all an estimate, so it's possible it may not go up that high, but rather play it safe.
Thank you.
Did you get your motion, Stan?
Wait a minute, there's two hands.
When you prepared the budget, did you go against actuals up until the point and then project out from there to see if your numbers?
Yeah, I had a P&L through February. And I worked with that, and also, I spoke to people over at the Cobrua office to see what went up or what possibly would go down, so that's how we prepared it.
Thank you.
And hopefully it works out.
Actually, it looks like good news, but I'm curious why the insurance went down from 8,400 to 7,200.
Workers' comp went down. We have good experience. D&O, we had no bad experience. That went down a little, so. And I took a wild guess and said maybe it'll go down a little more.
Okay.
It's an estimate. It's an estimate.
Okay.
But based on some actual items going down and anticipating possibly it'll go down again.
Okay, because, everybody says insurance is going up, although my homeowners went down. So I was just curious.
Oh.
I wanted to point out the good news. It was good.
We try our best. Do I hear a motion to approve the budget? All in favor? I guess the ayes have it. Thank you.
M&O, Stan.
What's that?
M&O.
All right. The monthly management meeting was held on Wednesday, February 21st. Present was Judy Milton, Vice President, Site Administrator, Monica Wells, Chief Financial Officer, Abby Koffler, Entertainment, Dan Cruz, Facilities Manager, and the entire committee was present. The water main project is progressing. The south end should just about be finished, and they're starting to work in the northern section. Some associations will have one backflow. Some may have 2 or 3 backflows, depending on the size. Once the backflows are put in, shrubbery is also put in to camouflage the ugliness of the backflows. And in my case, I know I live in Hythe. I measured it and it went up a little, the shrubbery, so it looks like it'll be covered within a couple of weeks, providing we have some rain. As you know, the clubhouse front is open, the indoor pool is open, and the only thing left now is some cosmetic adjustments. There's a chandelier coming in under the portico. The red bricks will be spray painted next year, and it'll be a budget item. So everything will look uniform and neat and clean. We are inspecting the various walkways, and anytime we find any cracks, they of course will be repaired. One of the problems, as Ted mentioned before, is speeding in the village. Hopefully we can educate people to slow down. We've put in some warning signs at various crossways to try and slow down the people. I know, not that I'm trying to pat myself on the back, when I see somebody crossing, I stop my car, let them cross, and then proceed. There were some complaints about the show that we had a couple of weeks ago with Sondheim. Sondheim's music is a little on the slower side, depending on what your like is for music. So when I brought it to Abby's attention, who's in charge of entertainment, you have to read the brochure that comes out describing what the shows are, so be careful. If you see something that looks a little too slow for you, don't go. Unless you like slow. We were talking about security at the gates. What happens is when the gate gets, especially on the south side, more so than the north side, when the arm gets stuck, we've asked security to put the cones out in the middle of the roadway on that side, rather than have it right next to the gatehouse or where the arm is. And this way there's less crisscrossing, or the crisscrossing happens earlier and doesn't jam up and screw up the whole thing. There were some complaints about Academy bus drivers. On the whole, most of the drivers are very pleasant, they're very helpful, they're very nice. The complaints that came in were taken care of. A couple of drivers were suspended for not acting appropriately. We checked our reserves for insurance and the water backflows. The insurance is the deductible based on what we get from our insurance company and the underwriters. For the backflow insurance and the other water projects, we had a consultant give us some advice, and everything is being done and holding up very well. We have enough to keep adding into our reserves. Some associations were complaining not enough tables at the pools. We'll be looking into that and see how we can solve that little problem. And as a final note, if you have a suggestion or you have a complaint, please go to the front desk, and there's a form that you can fill out. It'll go to management, and we'll go to the M&O committee, and we'll try and solve or come back with an answer to satisfy whatever the complaint or compliment was. Well, we won't come back on a compliment, but you don't get too many of those. Any questions?
Does anybody have anything to say about Hotwire? Regina, anything about Hotwire? Nothing? Okay, bylaws. Bylaws, Alan.
Attached to your copy of Stanley Siegel's budget is the bylaw change proposed. There had been a problem with notification in the past, and that's why there's been such a long delay. And there was also a typographical error that had to be corrected. But now the sheet is ready, and it basically says only one thing. The president can't run more than 2 terms. 2 years and then 2 more, and then he can't run for president again. He also can't run for first vice president or second vice president. And the proposal is just take out that language that he can't run again and leave the rest of it exactly the way it was. That's why there's nothing to add, nothing's underlined. And that's why whatever is struck through says you can't run again, take that out and leave it so the president can run again for a 3rd term. If he's elected, he serves again. And if he loses the election, somebody new serves. But don't tell him he can't run, because we don't tell anyone else. The budget director, recording secretary, sergeant at arms, they can all run again in the next election. And they can serve over and over, but the president can't. So take that out and let the president serve. That's the purpose of the amendment, and that's what this says in official language that goes to Tallahassee. So are there any questions from the delegates about that?
Elaine Harris, Hythe Association. This amendment that you're putting here on our chairs, it's not matching what was sent out in a notification with 2 weeks' notice that came to the presidents, and we were asked to send it to the delegates. So that would be a problem, that you don't have adequate notification on this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Do you want me to restate?
Yes.
The text of this piece of paper in front of us now does not match the notification that you sent by email to presidents on February 14th.
It's been modified since then after the detection of the typographical error. So the clock starts again, and you are now notified for next meeting to discuss it, and for the meeting following that to vote on it.
So it'll come up in May.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Sid, Cobra, have anything? Sid? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Carolyn?
Suzanne Cheever, Newcastle. So, would you just confirm that I'm correct? If you vote yes, it means no term limit, and if you vote no, it means term limit. Is that right? I'll say it again. If we vote, I know we aren't voting till May, but if I vote yes, it means no term limit. If I vote no, it means term limit. Is that correct?
So if you vote yes, it means you accept the change.
Which is no term limit.
Correct. And if
Okay,
you
so
vote,
yes is no, I'm just trying to simplify it because it's sometimes hard for everybody to read legal language. So just, it's now been confirmed, so delegates make note. In May, if you vote yes, it's because you want no term limit. If you vote no, it's because you're okay with term limit.
you want to keep it the way it is, right?
I have a question. It's Milton Fishberger from Cornwall. Cobrua has been in existence since when? How many years? Since when?
1974.
Since 1974. So we have been since
That's what he said. I listened to him. He said 1974. 94.
Since 94, Sid? Okay, so let's say since the 90s. So it's close to 30 years, let's say, since we have been functioning with a term limit. Why did this issue all of a sudden pop up after 30 years that we want to make a change? I'm a big proponent, and the people on Cobrua know, that I insisted that we have term limits. I want to know why this all of a sudden has come to be an issue. Why was it changed after 30 years when we were functioning fine? Why did this issue come up?
I brought it up because I thought it was the president, and I wasn't running. And I knew when I submitted this bylaw, I wasn't running. I think we have 6 years left or something till when is it? When are we going to buy it? 4 years? I thought that if we had a president for 2 terms and he or she was doing a great job, all of a sudden we're changing presidents in the middle of the stream. I thought that if you gave them 2 more years to continue to work with the Cobrua committee, it would work. That's why. And if you didn't want it, the people could change it.
And speaking as chairman of the bylaws committee, we had a meeting and we had the same discussion, and we agreed with Milton, and we said, why are we doing this? We shouldn't. Let's not recommend this. Yet, the executive board said, well, we don't have to listen to the committee, we just have to take it under advisement. And then they voted to proceed.
Only 3 people at that committee. It was in a quorum. Yes. Yes, sir. Back there.
Your language here says, Mark Hoffman, Newcastle. It doesn't say here to extend it from 2 terms to 3 terms. It says to eliminate terms.
Yeah, well, there'll only be 3 left because I don't think Cobrua is going to exist after you take it over.
There has been no decision by the Cobrua committee on what's going to happen with Cobrua. So to make a statement that Cobrua may not or will exist is just a little premature because there are several people in this room who are on the Cobra committee, and that decision on what to go forward with regarding Cobrua has not been made. So, in that sense, Mark is correct, because you're basically eliminating term limits for no reason that I can think of. And I would hope that the people in this room agree it should remain the way it was with term limits.
The only office that has a term limit is the president. All the other offices are unlimited, so why pick on the president?
To be honest with you, I think everybody should have term limits on that.
But that's not the issue right now. The issue is to undo.
You
Wait a minute,
up,
I'm talking. Wait a minute. When I finish, you can have the floor. So what I'm trying to say is, let's keep it uniform, period.
You brought up the issue of the rest of the people on the Cobrua board not having term limits. But you're the one who is asking one, not you, but whoever brought it up, whether it was Mike or anyone else, you've only brought up the issue of the president and not the rest of the board. If you were going to do it the real way, then you would have eliminated term limits entirely. But you haven't. You just picked on the president issue. So, for me...
Mill, this was meant...
Yes, I understand, but it's just very frustrating that you're trying to change something that didn't need to be changed.
It does.
That's the only position that had a limitation, so we made everything uniform, according to what they're proposing.
The only person in Palm Beach County who... No, the only person here... I know I've been president of Cobrua, Cornwall, I don't know how many years, and I don't think we should have restrictions on the president of the association. I don't think there should be any. I think the people who make the decision to change the presidency should be you people, not the bylaws. I think the people...
Helene Harris, Height Association.
Yes.
If I understood what you said earlier, the first reading of this proposed amendment will be in April, Cobrua meeting, and the vote in May. So I'm questioning why the discussion is coming up now. If this isn't even the first reading, it doesn't seem like there's any point in discussing it yet.
Okay.
It's out of order. That's
exactly what I was trying to get the microphone to say. You know, whatever anybody else had to say here, you could say it again at the next meeting, and at the meeting after that as well. So let's not have to hear it that many times. Next item.
We're still waiting for the report, and we're down to, yes. This is the Cobra.
Hi, Carolyn Haynes for Cobra. Our new board is in place. We had our first community presentation on March the 1st. I hope you were all there. It was in the theater, and we had our attorneys make the presentation for us. All residents who have their emails on file with First Service should have received an email from us as to the presentation so that you had the visual. If you didn't get it, I suggest that you contact your building director and have them take your email and then submit that on to First Service. We might be using that as a form of communication going forward, so we want to make sure we've got all the residents' emails. In addition, we suggest that you go to the Send West website and you'll see the presentation in full on video. And then if you have other questions for Cobra, there are two ways that you could submit a question. One is that we've got a box at the front desk where Sherry sits. You could write out your question and put it into the box, and we will get it that way and respond. The other thing would be to contact the Cobra group at the following email, and that would be cobragroup2028@gmail.com. So we've set up a couple of ways to receive your questions. So any questions?
I have one. Dave Fisher from Fanshawe. I think you should also include Crest Management for your emails, because there's two management companies here.
Okay, we don't want to miss that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Dave, Helene has a question.
Carolyn, I'd like to know if we could make a correction from that meeting on March 1st, Helene Harris Height Association. The lawyer, I believe, quoted the price per door at $125 per door, per month, per unit, and I believe the correct number is $175, and I think that should be brought out clearly because that's a lot of confusion there.
You are correct. It is $175 per door that's currently being collected. He misspoke, yes. I'm not sure where we would put that at, but we'll find our way to do that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Yes, Ted's question is the money is being collected at this time, and that is correct, and that will continue. We're starting to accumulate those funds now. Thank you. Dave?
Hold on, Mike. Mike, hold on, get you, Mike.
Would you repeat the email from before, Cobrua Group?
Yes, if you have questions for the Cobra Group, it's COBRAGROUP 2028 at gmail.com. Thank you for asking. Yes, and on the website, the SunWest website also is a good place to see the video.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Still waiting for, I guess it's the president's report, I saved it to the end because I've been the president here a long time, and I'm leaving. It was great working with everyone. And Pete, oh, wait, cut it out. Hey. Get after me. Okay, it was good, we agreed on some things with it. I'd like to correct Fred Hadley on something, though. Fred Hadley had us, I didn't want to interfere with the election, but he had us believe that the politicians go to him for everything in Century Village. I'm the president of the Democratic Club. Fred Hadley ran against me, and he lost unanimously. So who do you think the president's going to call? Fred Hadley and me. That's it. Thank you very much for electing me president. Yeah, thank you.
I have something to say. I want to thank Mike. It is very difficult. Everybody in this room, or most of us in this room, are volunteers. I know Mike has put in a lot of work here. Whether you like Mike or you don't like him, whether you disagree with anybody on the board or don't disagree, that is a tough job. It's not easy dealing with, I was going to say the word Meshuggah, but that's the Italian,
I wouldn't understand.
That's the Italian word, yeah. But I want to thank you, Mike, for all of the years that you put in on the, certainly for Cornwall and certainly for Cobrua. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know something, in the end, it's worth it. It's worth it. You see, I'm not the only volunteer. You people are volunteers too. Some of you have been here a long time. Some of you are here new. But you volunteer. And the delegates came to this meeting. How many did we have? 70? Dave? We had 70 volunteers. And people voted and left. Now, how can you vote for someone and not stay here and see what the problems are? That's what, I'm serious about that. How can you honestly vote for who's going to lead this community in the next 2 years? And some M&O committee is I served on the M&O committee a lot of years. That's very, very important. How could you just vote for someone and then leave and not know what the problems are? And that's why I compliment you who are sitting here now who stayed. And I compliment the people who do not serve, who are not elected, to come to every meeting and sit out there and say, I'd like to tell Mike something. They get an opportunity at the end. And some of them are very good suggestions came from the people who sit there when they get their 2 minutes, which we're going to give them right now, 2 minutes to talk. Oh, old business and new business? We have any old business? Okay, old business. I thought I said that. Old business, anything? New business, anything? The new business is the election. That's the new business. It's taken a long time. I have to tell you that How do you like the new way? How do you like the new way of voting, where you go up by association? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why we did it that way. We got a lot of complaints. Like people were sitting here, and they were seeing how the person was voting, and they didn't like that because the person sitting next to them, and they peek over their shoulder, and I got a lot. So we talked to Felix. So I think he's doing a great job. And this committee, they are volunteers too, and obviously it's taken a long time. Milt, thanks. I appreciate it. So we're going to have to.
Mike, if we're giving testimonials, could I give one? Nothing funny. I'm the most senior member on the M&O committee. And one of the things that we have accomplished and we're very proud of, over the last at least 10 years, we've kept the coupon down as low as possible. Especially this last year when we took into consideration with all the associations going up sky high. We worked hard to keep it low. I think it was about $2 and change. But in the meantime, we also accomplished a lot of things. So our goal is always to take into consideration the people that we live with. And this will always be our goal.
Here comes the committee now. We just called missing persons. Cancel that. Who did I assign to make that missing persons report? Cancel it. They're back. Okay, they're back. Where's the chairman?
Gathering all the papers.
They came this way, the chairman walked out the other. I'm sure if they're back, he's coming back.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I don't know what part you're up to.
Woodman wants to ask a question.
Good and welfare delegates.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I
Good
can ask
welfare.
my question.
Go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, 2 questions. I want to ask about the water lines that were installed. Do you think we will eventually be getting bills for that?
Stan?
The answer is no. We're not taking care of each individual unit. We're doing associations only.
May I ask why, to see how many associations are running more water than others? I mean, what's the purpose?
I don't follow your question.
How come we have never done this before?
First of all, the county has taken over the 12-inch pipelines. And they put in the backflows to determine how much water is going into each unit. Because not each unit, each association, it has to be measured. We also have somebody from a plumbing company, excuse me.
Okay, after that question, we'll have the election review.
So we have somebody from a plumbing company going around checking to see if there's any water being leaked in each unit. And the purpose is to cut down on the water because our water bills for our water bills for Century Village and Boca are higher than all the other Century Villages. So we're trying to do is to keep it as low as possible.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is to Sid Schwartz. When and if we take over the village, will the 2 temples be paying us rent? Because
I'll take the question, but actually the new president is Carolyn Haynes. We had the election and it was time for a change and Carolyn is the new president. But since you directed it to me, the two temples are deeded. Their land belongs to them. and we have no say in charging them anything.
Very interesting.
Okay, let's stop with the questions. We have the election. Felix, are you ready? You want to come up here and take a mic where you were before, please? Please, let's keep it quiet. We waited a long time for this. Okay, let's keep it quiet.
First, before I give the results, I have to ask Alan Perlin, recording secretary, to vote one vote for each unopposed candidate. Lynn Roberts, for treasurer, Ted Spar for financial secretary, Stan Siegel for budget director, Alan Perlin, record secretary, Bertha Wessler, sergeant at arms.
One case, one ballot. One vote, please.
I hereby cast one vote for each of the unopposed candidates, and it won't be their names again because he just read them.
Okay, now get the results.
All right, the election committee has counted and double-checked the closed ballot for the Cobrua president election on March 12, 2024. There was 69 ballot cast. Fred Hadley received 16 votes. Charlie Rosenthal received 53 votes. Therefore, Charlie Rosenthal is our new elected as the president of Cobrua. Congratulations. The election committee has counted and double-checked the closed ballot for the Cobrua first vice president election on March 12, 2024. There were 69 ballots. David Fisher received 27 votes. Carol Haynes received 42 votes. Therefore, Carol Haynes is elected to the office of Cobrua first vice president. The election committee has counted and double-checked the closed ballot for the Cobrua second vice president election on March 12, 2024. There were 69 ballots cast. Mark Huffman received 22 votes. Sid Schwartz received 46 votes. Therefore, Sid Schwartz is elected to office of the Cobrua second vice president. The election committee has counted and double-checked the closed ballots for the M&O committee election on March 12, 2024. There were 236 ballots cast. Al DiProtoro received 14 votes. Mona Lloyd received 41 votes. Susan Meltzer received 43 votes. David Merzon received 27 votes. Charlie Rosenthal received 43 votes. And Sid Schwartz received 38 votes. Ted Spar received 30 votes. Therefore, our new M&O add-on is Mona Lloyd, Susan Meltzer, Charlie Rosenthal, and Sid Schwartz are elected to the M&O committee. We want to thank everyone for participating in our election, and it was counted correctly and double-checked. Thank you.
No, thank you, Sophie. You did a great job. Felix, you really did a great job. And so did the committee. I'd like to personally thank you. It was the first election since I'm here that was orderly. Okay, motion to adjourn. Okay, for the last time, give me a name or Alan's going to kill me. Give me a name.
Susan Ortsman.
Second, give me a name. We don't have a second? Okay, thank you, everybody. Charlie, it's all yours next month.